on live on YouTube right now.
Right now, YouTube, I'm on.
He's on.
What's happening? It is 8:59. You got me for 1 minute before the rest of the world does. Good morning, folks.
IRS actions. Find the best options to solve.
I don't like to listen. I don't like to listen until we go live, so I'm not putting my headphones on.
You're not putting your headphones in defiance.
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, then I'm like bopping to music, and YouTube doesn't hear the music. It's like
they don't know what's going on. Yeah.
I'm just trying to be with you folks because I love you.
Well, we love you back, dude.
Please like and subscribe today if you haven't. 75% of our listeners are not subscribed.
Y'all need
Make
to
sure you
subscribe.
subscribe, please.
I'll throw in some bud.
But
420, you see his head?
yeah, it's not April 20th.
That's in response to you, sir, last
It
week.
doesn't matter for Manuel.
You know, there has never been one case of anyone overdosing on marijuana
That's
in the
true.
history of marijuana.
Yes.
Marijuana.
I tried it
Can you
with my
overdose on
wife.
marijuana?
No, you
I don't think
cannot.
you
Now,
can.
there are people who are allergic to marijuana. They have
When
reactions.
marijuana candy became a thing,
That's the problem.
nobody really understood what a dose was. And I gave Mia this big chunk of
It's not salami, buddy. It's not pepperoni.
So what happened?
she was unconscious for 24 hours.
That's more potent than, oh my God.
I had to put a mirror up to her
You're
nose.
the problem.
To
you
make
put
sure.
a mirror up to Mia's nose. Oh,
You guys are crazy.
Yes, counselor.
Good morning and welcome back. I am your host every Saturday morning right here on 100.3 WR&B.
And Classics 107.9.
Oh, he's so cool.
Man, y'all just don't know.
Listen, YouTubers, what I talked about before we went on their show, keep that to yourself. All right. The people on radio.
Unless you subscribe.
Yeah, if you wanna hear the inside scoop, you gotta watch us on YouTube and like and subscribe, and then the whole world is yours. All right.
Forget everything you just heard.
Yeah.
When you see that.
That was kind of Never mind. Continue.
Yeah. All right.
Good morning, Dick.
Good morning, firm. How are you, fellas?
We're well. And you?
I am good. As you know, I came up from the shore for this event.
There is a new residency, I hear, somewhere.
Yes, I'm in residence in Forked River, New Jersey. Not Forked River. Forked River, New Jersey.
Look it up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How did you find this place?
You got to Google.
I should have known better,
He
but
Googled it.
Forked.
there's a story. I was doing my thing at Hard Rock one day, and I felt guilty, like, oh, the kids, they're always here in the casino with me. Let me take them somewhere. So I got a Airbnb. Yeah, an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Airbnb?
Yes,
Is that what they call it?
that's what they call it.
I got an Airbnb in Seaside Heights, New Jersey.
Well known.
Yeah.
Well known.
Family town.
Right.
A cool boardwalk for the kids. And like as we're driving up, I'm calling the owner of the Airbnb to tell her we're on our way, and she says, "Oops, I double booked it. I don't have a place for you." So then, real quick, she found a friend who had a place, and I went and went to the friend's place. Well, I don't know if you went down. I went down the shore with my boys for senior week, but this place that we went to as a family was not some place I would have gone on senior week when I had no money and no sense. This place
When you
was
say senior week,
horrible.
you mean
like
college?
graduate? No, high school.
High school.
Yeah, this place was dank. It had like black mold. They had the old window air conditioners with things dripping out of it. When you got into bed, it felt moist. It was horrid. It was horrid. So one day we were there and we got to get out. And I knew my friend had a place in Forked River, so I asked him, "Are you down there?" He said, "No, keys under the mat. Go down and have a good time." So we went. We spent a few days down there, and he's like right on. He has a boat, and he's right on like a little tributary that comes off of the Barnegat Bay, and it was lovely. I had a nice time, and I said, "Hey, this is COVID time." I said, "Let's get a place down here," and that's what we
Back in
did.
2016,
2019.
2019. Okay,
yeah.
COVID time.
So yeah,
COVID
we've
was
been there. We've been
2021,
there
yeah.
for about 7-8 years.
Well, you lost me at Moist Mattress. I've never.
Yeah,
I don't
dude,
think I.
it was not nice. We have a guest in the studio.
Can you hear the laughter? Folks?
Yes, it's Keir Bradford.
Joy.
Hey,
Gray,
Gray.
do not please
Don't leave
forget
that
the
out.
Gray.
Okay, so sorry. Let's
You're in
try that
trouble,
again.
Dean.
Let's try that again. It's Keir Bradford hyphen Gray.
you know what? Thank you so much, Dean. It's always
Yes.
a pleasure being here with you.
The joy just cometh in the morning. Welcome.
We're going to get into some interesting topics today. But let me just ask you, how are you, Keir? I haven't seen you for a little bit.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much.
Where are you working now?
I'm with the Maroon Law Firm doing the civil rights in the civil rights litigation department. I still do some criminal, but not much, maybe high profile. But yeah, I just had a nice case that we had a great verdict not too long
Tell
ago.
me about it.
That was Christopher Woods. He was the former president of 1199C.
9C.
And he was being charged by the AG's office for fraud.
Fraud.
So we got a not guilty.
Oh, nice.
Because
Yeah.
obviously the evidence in court was different from the narrative in the paper. And,
Sometimes that happens, you know? Yeah. So you try your cases actually in court, not in the media.
truth.
All right.
But other people try it in the media.
Yeah.
I try it in court.
There you go. Well, we're talking about something involving a case. Where was this case at? In Texas?
Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
It's not a
Speaking
real-
of which,
not a real place.
my kid's up from Texas.
Big
St.
place.
Texas.
This ain't Texas.
Yeah, yeah. The Carmelo Anthony case.
Not the basketball player.
Yeah,
That-
same
right.
name.
Interesting.
Yeah, it
Different
is.
spelling. but
Different
yeah.
spelling.
Carmelo Anthony case involving a murder trial down in Texas. How did it go for Carmelo?
Well, it doesn't seem like it went well because he got found guilty. And
What was the underlying facts of the case, as you understand it?
see, this is where we get a little hazy because this was a closed case, so media wasn't allowed to be there. So we know the general theme of the case, which was Carmelo Anthony and the young man, and I feel so bad I forget his name because he is deceased and does
Austin
deserve some
Metcalf?
respect. Austin Metcalf, yes. Austin Metcalf had an altercation of some sort at a track meet, and where it was said that, you know, there were different accounts, whether Carmelo Anthony was the initial aggressor, but Austin Metcalf actually did physically touch Carmelo Anthony first, and that's when Carmelo Anthony pulled out the knife he had in his bag, and he poked Metcalf in an area where it pierced a bit of his heart. And so he died pretty much on the spot. And it's just deja vu because it sounds just like a case that I had in 2018 with Sean Skellinger in the Rittenhouse situation, where the young man had a knife and it went into the back of Sean Skellinger and pierced a bit of his aorta, where he died, really pretty immediately.
Uh-huh. And so what was Carmelo's defense to this, and why is this case important to us in Philly?
I think it's important because people are looking at this optically, right? They're saying, wait a minute, here's a young man that didn't seem to have any issues in the prior to this, never had been arrested, was the captain of some of his high school teams, straight A student. What would be the reason why he would just flip at a track meet and kill someone? And it just didn't seem to make sense. So people wanted to hear more. And the fact that Carmelo Anthony's defense team never put the defendant who is claiming self-defense on the stand is unconscionable, right? That's number one. But I think, too, optically, the fact that this was an all-white jury trying Carmelo Anthony in a closed case just seems to, the inherent unfairness seems to creep up when people are looking at the justice system and saying, wait a minute, who's deciding this man's fate? And I think that this is why it caught so much attention, because all-white jury, Texas, really don't know what's going on. Defense counsel he's got a all-white defense team. The defense counsel seems to know the players on the prosecutor's side. and no one can see what's really going on.
You know, I want to unpack this for a second. There's several things you talked about here, but before I do, let me remind our listeners that if you have legal questions, if you have a problem that you just can't quite figure out, I assure you, if you give us a call today at 215-227-2727, we will figure it out together. That's the number for all things legal in Philly, 215-227-2727. And if you're on YouTube, all you got to do is post a question, and Ms. Carly will make sure that I hear that question and answer that question. She's very adamant. When she has her little YouTubers, she's right on top of me.
Little
All right.
YouTubers.
Dang, really?
How about
I
the
need
big?
some little YouTubers.
All right. Now, let's unpack this for a second. First of all, usually one of the things that you don't expect to see is a defendant who has a criminal past testify in his own case, because there's so many things that can come up that may hurt him or her. But when you have no criminal past and some admirable things to talk about, those are usually the defendants who do testify, and in this case, he's claiming self-defense. Who better to talk about his mens rea than the defendant? And by the way, that's how you're thinking at the moment there. What is it? Why is it that he didn't testify?
So that's the golden question. Because even if they thought that, wait, I don't like the way he's saying things, one, you have to prep with your client, okay? You have to really get him to the point where he can relay the information so that other people can consume it the way you need them to consume it. But in a self-defense case, there is under no circumstances, I don't see anyone raising self-defense without the person talking about why he was in fear of his life, that he had to use such measures. That is a part of the analysis. And if no one ever hears how scared you are, why you were scared, and what we call your reasonableness, right? Because when we talk about someone using self-defense, we say objective reasonable. It has to be objectively reasonable, right? Mm-hmm. But we know your objective and my objective are different. I can walk down a certain street and I may not feel anything. Some people who may be from, where's your beach house?
Forked River.
Forked River, New Jersey, may be a little more trepidatious going down in North Philly. And so their objective reasonableness and my objective reasonableness when people approach me have different fears. And that you have to understand from the person's perspective.
Question.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that this kid was telling a story that there was just no way to clean it up. Like, he didn't fear, and he was angry from a past encounter, and it just snapped, and he was going to act on that. Like, maybe he was bullied by this kid or others, and this was just the straw that broke the camel's back, and it wasn't fear, and the defense attorneys just couldn't clean that up.
Well, kind of explain, because both of these are states, Pennsylvania and Texas, have stand your ground laws. Mm-hmm. What is a stand your ground law? Kind of explain what that really is.
Well, I thought it had to do with households, not so much of just personal space.
No, it's Pennsylvania had expanded under Governor Rendell had worked on this a while ago. Pennsylvania had expanded stand your ground to include street areas, right? So where you're at, you have a reasonable expectation to protect yourself if you believe that someone is going to approach and enact bodily harm, serious bodily harm, or death on you. But it has to be reasonable from the person's mindset in terms of what they were dealing with. Stand your ground really is a situation that doesn't make it to court. Stand your ground is an area where police or prosecutors can automatically say, I'm not going to prosecute you because I see in this situation you had a right to protect and defend yourself. And that is generally doesn't really get seen by people when people apply that. But I'll tell you this, in Pennsylvania, I think we had stand your ground since 2012 now. Mm-hmm. Not one African-American person has ever benefited from stand your ground. There has been several non-African-American people, and this is just facts. I'm just stating the facts. Several that have. I think there was one where we had a gun on a person who owned a gun shop in Philadelphia, and guys came in and they were dressed pretty nefariously. Guys shot him, and that was stand your ground. It never made it to court.
Yeah.
So, so these things don't make it to court. Self-defense is where you have to go through a court proceeding and put your case on in front of a trier of fact, and they determine whether you're guilty or not guilty. But stand your ground, it never even makes it into the courtroom.
215-227-2727. You want to jump in on this conversation or ask any legal question, now's the time to do it. Because as we get close to the end of the hour, we're always left with people dangling on the phone because you called too late. So jump on now, 215-227-2727. Second thing, so one is the failure to testify as the person who's alleging the self-defense. The second thing you mentioned is an all-white jury. Yeah. I'm curious how many folks of color were on the veneer. We're on the see, folks, what happens when we pick a jury, there's, if you've served a jury, you know this, there's 40 or 80 or however many they feel necessary to get through so that we get a panel of 12. And in civil cases, it may be a panel of 8. So if there were only one or two people of color in the larger group called a veneer, then maybe makes sense that there weren't people of color. But if there were 50% of the people on the veneer were of color and 0% made it onto the actual jury, that's a problem.
Yeah, so what I did understand about the jury selection process is that there were actually 3 African-American educators, women educators, that did make their way into the jury panel. However, the district attorney struck all 3 of them, using the reason for them being educators. He didn't want educators to be judging this situation. I don't even understand that rationale. However, it was good enough to get over whatever hump they get over. When the hump I'm talking about, you know this very well, Dean, is that we call things peremptory challenges, right? But in a peremptory challenge, you can challenge a juror because you think they can't be fair for some unknown reason. Now, not when they just say, no, I can't be fair. That's a challenge for cause. But if you have some underlying facts that may not make you the best juror, the defense counsel or the prosecution can strike you. So you can't strike people based on their race. That's just not acceptable, illegal, unconstitutional, all of that stuff. So sometimes people use certain excuses to strike what would otherwise be a strike based on your culture and race. And so I do believe this may be an appealable issue. If, in fact, anyone else on that jury had education experience, whether they were an educator before or, has family members that are educators, because the rationale now would be watered down because you're saying these 3 black women educators could not fairly judge the facts of this case, which already sounds ridiculous.
Translation, they were too woke.
I don't know about too woke, but they may have been culturally sensitive to.
You got a young black male and 3 black women. The whole maternal thing they're concerned about, educated. What were they? High school teachers? Were they in kindergarten, middle school?
Teachers. And remember, Michael White. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what happened. The gods must have been shining on jury duty that day because we got pretty much 8 African American women on that jury that day, and it was like. I've never seen that many African American people participate in jury. And this is where public service announcement. When you get a jury duty call,
please
answer the call.
Please. Mm-hmm. Please answer
and
the
sometimes it's just bad luck that you get a panel that does not represent the folks you want on the jury.
And you can ask for another panel.
Yes. Good luck getting it.
God bless democracy.
With certain judges, they may give it to you.
Good luck. Not on civil cases.
Oh, that might be true.
215-227-2727. Let's talk to Joseph on line 2.
There he is.
Joseph, welcome to Court Radio.
Welcome and thank you, Dean. Thank you for the last charities event that you held in Berwyn. I certainly enjoyed it. But to your guests and to all, Manuel and Tactic and everyone, to what the guest is saying, how does that in any way have any common denominator with what we're seeing here in Philadelphia with an individual, parenthetically being that of DA Larry Krasner, trying to pitch criminal reform, and now we have this case in Texas that seems to want to suppress it. So is there any connection in terms of the legal system as to why Texas is kind of keeping it under wraps in terms of not letting it become a reform issue?
Well, remember, Joe, that the court systems are a reflection of the mindset of the community. And so you're going to find very conservative courts in this country and very liberal courts in the country, and so I would say that Philadelphia probably, you could correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't practice in the criminal court system, but we have, I mean, if you had a choice on where you wanted to try a murder case, I would think Philadelphia would be a better place
100%.
than Texas would be.
100%.
And I know as a civil trial attorney, I would rather be in Philadelphia than, let's say, Montgomery County, because it literally is, county by county across this entire country. Some counties you don't want to drive through, let alone try a case in. And so, yeah, it's going to change. And it changes how the judges rule on the cases and on the issues. And it changes the jurors that you're going to get and what the expected outcome will be. You hope for the best and you do the best you can in trying your case, but you certainly, as a plaintiff's attorney, I have a leg up on defense attorneys if we're trying a case here in Philadelphia, because the jurors are less amenable to corporate America. They understand that corporate America looks out for themselves and they want to make the most profit on the backs of common people. And so they're not coming at this with a sympathy for the corporation. Whereas in Montgomery County, maybe jurors are going to be the guys who own the corporations, and so they're going to be looking
their wives.
Beneficiaries of something.
Yeah,
with respect to
or they're shareholders of that corporation. So each place has its unique makeup. And in Texas, and especially, you're not in Austin or, again, county by county. Is this Dallas or is this, some East Texas or Southern Texas county that you're going to have a hard time going with it?
Yeah. And I want to just remind people, I mean, look, we know Larry Krasner has a mindset for different reform. However, the district attorney's office prosecutes people. That's what they do. And so even with Michael White, he was originally charged with first-degree murder by Larry Krasner.
Yeah, he was.
So this wasn't a situation where he saw Stand Your Ground and saw it in a reflection of a larger criminal justice reform issue. It's case by case. Everything goes and moves based on what's going on in the moment. And politics does play a big role.
Oh, yes. That's the other thing, Joe. Politics does play a big role. I don't know if I answered your question, sir, but that's our best.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you.
Love you, Joseph. Take care, brother.
I love Joe.
Okay,
Great guy.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Joseph. I know, and we were talking prior to this, I have been following this case for about a year. I saw videos, I saw the social media trends, the thread conversations, and then I didn't see anything. You couldn't find the background that you had seen before. Things began to disappear. And the things that I saw led me to believe that this was a case of a kid being bullied. And as Dean alluded to, had just had enough. These boys, and there were two of them. Austin Metcalf had a brother. They were known to be bullied. They were big kids, too. He had a twin brother. They were over 200 pounds, 6 feet tall. This guy's 5'11", 130 pounds wet. That part was not told well.
Told at all.
At all.
Well, number one, I don't think we heard that from the defense.
Right.
At all. I mean, it just didn't seem to come through. And in fact, this conflicting information, because what I understood is they didn't know each other.
Well, they were in this kid's tent. There was a track meet.
Right.
They're football players.
But they're different schools. That
Right.
a track meet, you have all different schools. So this is a tent that had that kid's school was in that tent, and Carmelo
Right.
Anthony stopped at that tent.
At
I
that-
don't know why, but it was told that they didn't even know each other. So I don't really know what the heck happened. Maybe they saw each other prior at other track meets. I'm not
That was
sure.
my understanding. At other meets, they had seen each other because weren't those boys shot putters or something at the time? That's why they were there.
I believe so. Yeah.
Right, they were football players
Yes.
as well. These were big guys.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, he was a sprinter.
Right.
130 pounds weight, little dude, who felt the need, what I was reading, what I saw based on looking at both sides,
Right.
to protect himself. These guys, of course, come from an era where, well, parents teach their kids to use guns. There were many videos of them target practicing and blah, blah, blah. I mean, but it's a different culture. So it's a different mindset, and that matters, as Dean was alluding to. That area mattered.
And the other thing in the Carmelo case is that he could have been sentenced from like as little as 2 years.
5 years to 99.
Yeah. And he ended up getting 35 years. You know, I mean, that's people get, you know, I mean, if there are mitigating factors involved in it, you would think that you would have seen a sentence that was far less than 35 years. I suspect that on appeal, this case is going to get better for the defendant. I would hope.
I don't, and I can't say it may. So I think 35 years accounts for his age at the time this happened, right? He was 17 years old. So we still have to deal with the fact that he's a kid and his brain is not fully developed. That, the Supreme Court said, you have to use that as mitigation, period. But, you know, here's the problem that I'm having. What I'm seeing, the bits of facts that I am seeing, there were 21 witnesses called by the prosecution who were in that tent that said that Carmelo Anthony was the aggressor. They said he came in there and he started, you know, doing things, and he basically told the guy, touch me and you see what happens. And so the defense said basically that's not a threat, that's a warning. And the prosecution said, do not let the defense say that's a warning, that's provocation. That's basically saying, come, let's do it.
I don't
it's
know.
hard to figure it out.
I don't know enough, you know, to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. This probably never should have been a self-defense case. From the little pieces I'm hearing,
I don't know.
I think that the missed opportunity was to talk about this kid's past and being bullied, and to go to the mitigation. You know, a lot of times when we try cases, it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to lose, but there's some really good, compelling things to mitigate your case that you bring out in sentencing. And sometimes you try your case at sentencing.
Well, it sounds like you can do both. It sounds like you can do both.
Yeah.
You mitigate based on what his mindset is, and then that goes into whether they actually feared for their life
But
in
that's
self-defense.
No, that is
Yeah.
self-defense.
That's
Self-defense is
yeah.
a straight defense. It's not a sentencing mitigation. It
No.
is, the law protects people and allows people to defend themselves, right? I mean, look at George Zimmerman. You know, there's the law, seriously.
Still on the streets.
So we have to make sure that we equally apply the law, right? Because when I tried Michael White's case, I said he's deserving of the protections of the law as well. So if he's faced with fear of imminent bodily harm and death, he is allowed to protect himself. And I do think I don't know, Dean. I do think this should have been tried as a self-defense case. There has to be. I mean, if we're saying that this guy is physically pushing him, now we don't know how far it's going to go. We don't know what this young man is thinking in his head, and we don't know their prior contacts. I think it was worth a try to put this young man up
That's
to
what I was getting
say,
ready to say.
what is it that you believed was happening that you needed to use that? And everybody talks about, well, you can't bring a knife to a fist fight. Well, you can in certain situations when you believe that the person's fist is going to knock you out. I mean, that was Michael White.
Yes.
That was George Zimmerman.
Right. And and the difference in size between, you know, that Manuel keeps harping on, which is not to, you know, to
And there are
be
two of them.
minimized. Right. The difference in size, one could fear for their life, if the other guy's so big and so strong.
High school shot putters from Texas.
All right, we got to take a quick break. We got to take a
They
quick
ain't
break.
little guys.
We got to take a quick break.
I'm sorry, sir.
That's all right. We got to take a quick break. Folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes. If you've got legal issues or questions, give us a call at 215-227-2727.
You know what I think is killing me now?
Every day you're
Everybody's
literally
putting
walking your
millions to
dog or
this.
headed to work.
So now this legal team is just like coming out the woodworks, right? You got Jose Baez that did the Casey Anthony trial. He's on this now. Cardi B's putting like
my
30
God.
million.
Now
I'm
it's
like,
getting
can you?
hurt.
That name in a hundred.
But I haven't gotten a call.
That's what's really
Like,
pissing
you
me
need
off.
better PR, sis.
I do. That's why I'm on Dean's show today. Like, listen,
come on my show
I
tomorrow,
had a
Kevin.
case. My case was on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, right? Did you get paid for that?
No, I was the chief PD.
Is there some reason you can't get paid as a chief PD?
Yeah, because we were free.
Not for the defense. From Paramount. For
Oh,
telling
yeah.
the story.
Oh, you know what? Because I'm naive and I don't know about business like that. I had
Okay.
no idea. I just totally said, sure, I'll do it. Totally didn't even think about, like, wait a minute, how much are you guys going to make
Yeah,
off of this?
right? Yeah, exactly.
I should have called you.
Yes, you should have. 72 seconds in Rittenhouse Square.
Yeah.
I got to see that. I've never seen it.
It's a very fascinating. I mean, one, it's always got to be sensationalized.
Who
So,
plays you?
I do. it's a docuseries.
Okay.
So I'm in
How
it.
many episodes?
4.
Okay.
Three episodes. So there's one with Skillinger, one with Mike, one that focuses on Skillinger, one that focuses on Mike, and one that focuses on the two of them coming together in this moment. So it's very action-packed. It's very, like, interesting, right? But one thing for sure, Larry becomes a hero in this story. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why did me and Larry almost had a fist fight in his office about this.
You and Ryan Boyer.
Oh, no,
Y'all
no.
got that in
don't,
common.
please. That's two separate issues. I'm talking about facts of the case, and me and Larry like really went at it. I mean, behind the scenes.
He didn't try the case.
No, but he said when I decided I was going to try the case, I went to try to talk some sense into Larry, right? And he's like, "Sounds like you're trying the case." I said, "Well, I don't know yet." So we're talking. I totally was, but I didn't want to even put that on because everyone's like the chief PD. What are you doing trying a case? And my husband's like, "Why are you doing this?" It's like I couldn't
Worked
help it.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, YouTube. See you at the end in closing arguments.
I love that.
Yo, welcome back. I am Dean Weitzman, and this is Court Radio every Saturday morning right here on 100.3 WRB.
And Classics 107.9. I'm like giving the signal, like,
pregnant pause.
keep it going, bro. Keep it going. You got it.
That was cool. That was all right.
It was called drama.
Dramatic effects.
I missed doing this. Let's do this over again. 100.3 WRB.
100.3 WRB.
And
Classics 107.9.
Yeah,
Don't encourage me.
I like it. I love it.
Can I take a left turn here on this conversation?
How left are we going? Well, sure.
Not too left.
To Forkford, New Jersey.
Forked left. The forked in the road.
I don't want Kier to be totally prepared for our conversation, so we put those aside for a
Paper
minute.
planes.
Come on,
Paper
let's do it.
planes.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
Here we go.
I have seen lately something that has transpired in the criminal justice world that I never saw before, and that is a willingness to prosecute parents for the acts of their minor children. And I'm not saying that it has anything to do with Anthony Carmelo.
Sure.
He was packing a piece, a knife.
A knife.
But I was just seeing there was a 7-year-old, right? A 7-year-old that was 255 pounds.
No.
Yes. That only ate potato chips and junk food.
Excuse me?
No, look, he got that FCC money. It's good.
Yeah.
It never happened. Keep going, Dean.
You too.
And 255 pounds, and this child, this 7-year-old child, died from heart disease. and they're prosecuting mom and dad who are in prison today awaiting trial for murder.
Oh my God.
That's happening now.
It is. And, it's not just that. They're also prosecuting parents for kids who shoot up schools.
Yeah,
and
guns.
things
Yeah,
that
of
they
course.
do that are really... let me say.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Like I think that again, some people may hate me on this, but I think there are people who should not be having kids.
Well, that's always been the case.
And
right?
So they don't have the emotional ability, financial ability, education, whatever it is. They don't have what it takes to raise a responsible human being in society.
I would take out financial ability, right? There's a lot of people that are pretty poor that are good parents. I was raised in a household where we didn't have much.
Me too.
But I will say this. Where it fits, I do believe certain prosecutions are warranted. However, there is a system that can take care of parents who need help and who are struggling, whether they got mental health, addiction issues, whatever. And I think a situation, that's our DHS systems, right? So where people
which are being defunded around the world.
Which is crazy.
yeah.
They should be extra funded because that is where you really can help at the very beginning before it gets beyond. But what I think in terms of a kid who's 7 and that has gained that much weight, that didn't happen overnight. So who was were doctors?
Only saw a doctor once in his life. Had no pediatrician.
But did he go to school?
Did not go to school.
Ever?
Oh,
Yeah,
homeschooled.
because he
Homeschooled?
allegedly he had autism.
So he was
on the
homeschooled.
spectrum.
I don't know.
Well, if he was homeschooled, now this is going to be a bigger problem. That is a total neglect issue, right? Now, if he's going to school and other people and other educators are looking at him and they are mandatory reporters,
sure.
They should have reported something is not right in this household.
Well, let me just say this to Dean, and for those who don't remember, there was a time in this country we were very cruel to children. There were no child labor laws. If you had children, they worked from sunup to sundown. Everybody worked. It was terrible for children. The reason we have Gerard Collins is because Stephen Gerard saw that white orphans weren't getting adopted. They didn't have the same social activist groups that blacks and others had, so he made Gerard Collins because white kids who were orphans were living on the streets. It was terrible. All these systems you're talking about developed because of child labor laws being developed and the welfare systems and DHS, because we were just a terrible nation to children
I think
of
we're still
any
terrible
race.
to children.
But it was worse.
Yeah.
But those same things are now being rolled back because you have people that just think, you know what, some folks just aren't worth living.
I got a question for you, Dean.
Aren't valued.
I got a question for you, Dean. Can I take a turn on your show?
You can.
Social media, right?
Yep.
We are now seeing a trend where social media companies and Meta have been sued and have been found liable.
We have some of those cases.
You do.
Yeah.
I love you for that because obviously my attorney
One of
general.
many reasons she loves me for that.
Exactly. and because you got me why I wanted to run for attorney general.
Right.
I am hugely invested in looking at what's happening with these cases because I know they have turned children into things
Zombies.
into things that their parents can't control.
Yes.
And so if you're going to start prosecuting parents for certain things that have
Oh, yeah.
influenced
I see where you're going.
children
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
in this way.
Yeah, baby.
Why are we not
Yes.
looking at this? Because it hurts my heart. I have seen so many children succumb to social media. Their personality has transformed in ways that have made their parents can't even control this behavior.
Yeah.
And I just think it's criminal. Obviously, civil definitely needs to pay for some of the damage they have done. But I think certain things can be seen, if a parent's neglect can be seen criminal, them feeding and feeding and feeding with all their endless scrolls and all the things that they are able to access and the addictive nature that they know this has, I think there's something there. There needs to be something there.
Oh, there is. Algorithms that they create for the purpose of hooking you and keeping you in the scroll is a known thing. I mean, they build their platform thinking, how can we make this so that you can't put it down? And so, yeah, I believe we're just now. There was one case that came out and it was against Meta, and many of the other defendants in that process settled before, but some didn't, and we got a plaintiff's verdict out on the West Coast on this. and
Were you a
it's
part of that?
no, I have one of those cases. It's coming, and so I believe we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. These companies will be hammered for this, and just like tobacco companies had to change. You know, no more advertising. When I grew up,
yeah, we saw
on TV
all the time.
You saw the Marlboro Man.
Camel.
Which
camel?
tastes good like a cigarette should.
Yeah.
And Salem, the Marlboro. We saw it all.
Yes.
There's always a woman in front of some really nice car.
So
yeah, people don't remember that.
That doesn't happen anymore. You got all the warnings, and it's going to, you know. So we're going to see that, I believe, with social media and with the video games.
There was even an age limit.
Yeah.
Even the age limit.
And maybe a time limit where, you know, like the company itself tags you, and then after a half an hour, you're tagged out for that day. There has to be, because we are becoming a society of zombies.
You're right.
Addicted. Yeah.
Wait, just like the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
215-227-2727. We have callers. I have to engage here, young man. Line 1, Angel.
Hey, Angel.
Angel.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, and I want to thank you for being so patient, because you were the first caller to call in, and I apologize for taking so long to get to you.
No worries. I
you
enjoy
are
your call.
important,
I enjoy your
Angel.
radio show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, what's your question?
About 20 years ago now, my brother co-signed my mortgage because I couldn't qualify on my own. He has never lived in my house, and he has since passed away. My mortgage is about to be paid off. I'm probably about $12,000 left on it. What paperwork would I need to file
Well,
so
first
that
off,
his name can be removed? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
congratulations.
Yeah.
You
Thank you.
yeah, you have done something that not many Americans can say they've done.
Thank you.
All right, let's unpack this for a second. First of all, you should have had a contract with your brother that would have recognized that he's on for the mortgage only, and that he has no ownership interest. Right. Because just looking at your deed, he's a 50% owner, assuming, you can own a house as joint tenants with right of survivorship, and that is the way your deed should have been drafted. And then once he dies, it automatically goes to you. And I don't know that it's not that way. It might be, and you might be okay. And then there's joint tenants without the right of survivorship, in which case you own 50% of the house and he owns 50%. So then I have to ask you, when he died, did he have a will? And did he leave his 50% interest to you? And if he didn't have a will, then I'm going to ask you, who were his surviving heirs at the time of his death? Did he have children? Did he have a wife? And if he did, then they're now the owner of the 50% that he owned. So I got questions for you, young lady, but I don't have answers. Do you want to chime in?
He does not have a will. We did not have a contract in place. Yes, he has a daughter, my niece.
Does he have a spouse?
I'm trying to make sure. No, he did not.
Okay, so legally, possibly, again, I'd have to see the deed to tell you with certainty. But if it's just joint tenants without the language with right of survivorship, then when he died, his 50% interest vested in his only living heir, his daughter. And so you are now co-owners of your home with your niece. Now, obviously, if things worked out, she would say, Auntie, I know this isn't my house, and let me do what needs to be done to transfer it, in which case it's fairly easy. I will say it will be taxable, though. So you would have to come to our office, and Saul Langsam at my office, who does this kind of work, he would transfer. It would actually be two transfers. It would be one from your brother upon his death to his daughter, and from your niece, his daughter, to you. And those transfers may end up costing you some tax money with Pennsylvania. So, yeah.
Inheritance tax, right?
Yeah, maybe an inheritance tax or transfer tax.
Oh, okay.
Property transfer tax. So there's some work to be done here, Angel, and you should address it sooner rather than later. Maybe, there may be a little bit of pain involved in it, but it can be worked out. And assuming that your niece is on board with it, it won't be that difficult. But you should make an appointment, get a copy of your deed, bring your deed into the office, and let us take a look at it so I can give you a more thorough evaluation.
Fair enough. I will. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck,
Angel, be well. Thanks for calling Court Radio. Have a great Saturday.
You too. Bye.
Oh.
Do you know that every Saturday morning is like me doing a law school exam?
I love it. Keep you sharp, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel that way?
I mean, it's like I'm not, I didn't come prepared for Angel's question.
No,
and it's nuanced. There's
Right.
many different
Experience.
layers to it.
And you know that. So I thought
So
it was
it really
really
does-
good analysis
Yeah.
for her where to start. But you can always have a deed that doesn't have the mortgage holder's name on it, right?
Yes.
So it depends on what her deed
Well,
is.
and it depends on the mortgage company. They may insist upon it. So anyway, that is what that
I think
is.
your YouTube is blowing up on a few things about
She
a
went to circle back on
tech
something.
company
Yeah.
being prosecuted. I just wanted to say this because this is not a far-fetched idea, right?
Yeah.
Doctors are prosecuted for over-prescribing addictive medication.
Yes.
And so when we're talking about addictions that damage your well-being, your mental health, or your physicality, why isn't the same principles apply? Why don't the same principles apply?
Oh, well, that's your bailiwick. You're talking about criminal prosecution. Because civilly, that is beginning to happen.
Sure.
And maybe the criminal will follow.
It depends on what comes out of the civil cases.
Yeah.
I mean, you may hear some very damning evidence. I mean, I think there were whistleblowers that started some of this, right?
Yeah.
So
And, it's only fair because when you add up all the elements, these companies are designing the program to be more addictive. They're profiting from that design, and they're harming the people that they're going after. And so I think that we're going to see more of that. And we're very careful about the cases we take. The cases we have so far are children only, and children who have gone through mental health crises and have been hospitalized over those crises that involve social media platforms and video games. If you fit that description, as I've just laid out, or know somebody who does, please have them give me a call because we are actively soliciting clients that meet those criteria. We are getting close to our 10-minute time, so we're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to come back with Keir Bradford Gray. We're going to talk about parents' responsibility for the actions of their children and close out that part of the case or show. Folks, we'll be right back in 2 minutes.
you want to know when I was running, they asked me would I, one of my thoughts were to look at where parents should and could be prosecuted for certain reckless and senseless actions, like if you're buying your kid who's not mentally well a gun.
Yes.
Then I think you are co-contributing to the destruction that he just did. If you are a drug dealer and you have guns all about your home and you have children, that's pretty classic. People do get prosecuted for that a lot.
Yeah, or even a drug addict who leaves their fentanyl around and their kid takes it and ODs.
Yes, those are pretty easy to prosecute.
Yeah,
those
low-hanging fruit.
Chris said not murder, but more like manslaughter.
For what?
For the obese.
Obese kid. Oh yeah, it definitely will be an involuntary manslaughter, something like that.
Yeah.
But if we don't even know the mental well-being of the parents.
That part.
Right.
I'm just gonna sip this.
And how do how does one stop that? I see it. This is where I get a little Hitlerish. because I think like we should have some. There should be some oversight on who's having kids.
But see, there is, right? This is, my husband was a dependency judge, so he was in the court. He used to go through DHS cases.
Was he on the bench when Bobby Rebstock was on?
Yeah, because he's 11 years on the bench now. He's in criminal now, but he was
Charlie,
10 years.
They're the real
dependency.
Cosbys.
The problem I have, we are not. We are not.
They the Cosbys.
Let me tell you something. I want to
They
roll
the
up in a
Cosbys.
car like Dean does. But
They
that's
didn't
why,
drive
that's why I'm
Rolls
trying to do
Royces.
this private stuff now. But
right here. Hey, Dean.
What?
2 juveniles in custody charged for the massive fire in Allentown. 6 alarm fire in Allentown. Like, how is that going to work out? You know what I mean? Like, the juveniles are in custody. Are they going to charge the parents?
Well, I don't know.
Probably,
Did the
it
parents
depends.
buy
If
them the gasoline?
juveniles, right. If they bought them the gasoline
At these prices?
Oh, yeah, really?
at these prices.
What?
Well, your hand like skipped a beat there for a second. You got that little shaky thing going. Like,
Oh, no.
Well,
I'm
these
good.
two
which
have
one
been
of
an
these
item
buttons do
today.
I need to push up here? Good morning and welcome back. I am Dean Weitzman, your host, right here on 100.3 WRNB.
And Classics 107.9.
Perfect. We are joined in the studio by my friend Keir Bradford Gray. Good morning and welcome back.
Thank you, Dean.
Keir is working in the civil rights division of the Marone Law Firm, prosecuting civil rights violations all around the country.
Hopefully all around. Right now we're a little in the tri-state area, but
Okay.
we want to go bigger. So anyone has a civil rights violation? Oh, you know what? No, we're in New Mexico too. So
Wow.
you know what? You're right.
All right. I want to go visit the New Mexico branch of the Marone Law Firm just to check it out, make sure
It's a
they're doing.
one-person show over there, but we got it.
Hey, listen.
Hey.
One person is
Holding it down.
you planted your flag.
That's all
That's
we need.
it.
We were talking about a case in Texas involving a 17-year-old who got into an altercation with another student, resulting in the death of that student through a knifing, and we've been dissecting that case. But in that conversation, we kind of took a turn and we were talking about responsibility of parents and how parents are now being prosecuted around the country a little bit more frequently than they had before, which was not at all, when they engage in behavior or fail to take action that leads a child to commit a crime. I like it. I think parents have a responsibility, when you give your child a car or a gun or some potentially deadly instrument, you have a responsibility to make sure that they're capable of handling it, that they know that you've schooled them, trained them, that their mental health is sufficient, and you cannot put gasoline and matches in the same room and then act stupid when a fire starts. Do you join me in that feeling? I mean,
think it's
and
a
you were a
case-by-case
prosecutor. You were attempting to become
Right.
the chief prosecutor for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So you had to think about this.
Oh, I think there are times where it's very appropriate. But I think it's a case-by-case analysis, right? There are some really hard-working parents that are really good parents and really do everything they can, and their kids kind of go off and hang with certain crowds and do certain things that their parents have no idea that it's going on. I just think there's a case-by-case analysis. But you got to remember, Seth Williams was prosecuting parents for truancy. He started that. He started
This is a
prosecuting
fact. Yeah, I
parents
remember that now.
when their kids were seriously delinquent at schools. That became very controversial because there were times where parents had worked overnight shifts and they had their kids and they knew that they were supposed to get ready. They had no other choices but to keep the lights on. And so you started getting some of those that were coming in too.
Right.
You're also getting the parents that say, I watch my kid go to school every day. I drop my kid off. He left.
That was me.
So there were so many variations of this. And I think it is a tool that should be dangled because parents should be doing everything they can to make sure that you're responsible for your children's actions.
I wonder if it's had an effect on parents. Like, are there parents out there who saw that prosecution? I think maybe Colorado, wherever it was, the parents had provided the gun to the
Michigan, wasn't it? Something
Okay.
Yeah, I remember
No,
that
I think it
story.
was both. I think they both had similar.
Okay, and so
issues.
parents who provide guns to children who end up shooting up schools when the kids are clearly have some mental health issues, and despite that they put a deadly weapon in their hands and or leave guns lying around the house. Excuse me. Has that impacted parents? Has that caused parents to change their behaviors and start to think oh man, I'm going to get prosecuted if I do X, Y, or Z, or I don't. And then we were talking also earlier about the parents who allowed their child to eat himself at 7 years old to 255 pounds and died from a cardiac condition because of the weight. We have a responsibility as parents to raise healthy children and to take all necessary precautions. I don't know.
There was a movie about that. Lee
I don't have a
Daniels.
lot of sympathy for parents who.
Precious?
No, Holly Berry character, her son was overweight.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that movie?
Yeah,
He died from eating like that.
She won an Oscar for that. Yeah. Monster. That wasn't it called Monster?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's something that
I think it's a
parents have
slippery
to
slope.
become. But it can be something dangling. If you say, as a prosecutor, I am willing to go there, maybe people do start to say a little bit, oh my goodness. But I tend to think the parents that are really nervous about having any adverse action, whether it's financial or economic, they are the ones that are always going to be, kind of cautious. If you crash my car, I know I'm going to have a huge financial issue.
Right.
But I think there are certain parents that's not going to impact them because of the lifestyle and things that they are dealing with. You're only going to get to them through other systems that have to be routinely involved. DHS, children and youth. Those are systems that are set up to be in your household,
Right.
making you do things, and nobody likes that.
No.
But when you have demonstrated you can't do it yourself, someone's got to step in.
Preemptive care. Can we get to the place? Well, right. First of all, preface it by saying this is where it takes money, and these organizations are being deprived of money. If we want to have if really we care about having a society which is healthier and safer, should those institutions circle through households, even where there's not a reason to have engaged them, for a checkoff? Like, how you got to when you come to school, you got to have your vaccinations.
Yeah.
Okay, so like maybe these organizations come through just
Like a license renewal.
Take the stigma away from it. Take the stigma. We come through everybody's house. We make sure your kids have a bed to sleep in and food and blah 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 blah. And kind of
Sounds good, but I don't think practically it would even ever happen. We couldn't even do that practically, right? You've got to go into. We can't even do it for the households that need it, let alone households that don't. And I honestly, I'm not so sure I need, unless there's things that are signs in my home. I don't need people coming in telling me your cultural way of raising kids versus mine. I may use the belt a little bit sometimes, and you may not
Can
like
you do that anymore?
Capital
Yes,
punch?
you can.
punch, yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
capital. That's corporate punch. Corporate.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I'm going
But, you
home.
know-
I'm going home to tell
But
Jackson.
I may use it. I'm not saying my kids are grown now, but if I did, are you telling me that I can't discipline? Not to where they're like just, I physically created like whelps and scars on them.
You be giving them a two-piece.
Well, sometime they needed something.
All right. I'd love to continue this conversation, and we will on closing arguments, but we're all out of time on terrestrial radio, and I have to say goodbye to my folks on radio. But if you want to join us on YouTube Live, you can find us in Court Radio. See you next week, same time, same place.
I live on a street.
We are on YouTube still.
Oh, we are. Yeah.
Closing arguments.
This is for your arguments. I live on a block where there are people raising kids. On one side, they've got 4, And they do everything to keep these kids busy, occupied. I mean, camps, sports, everything. I got another side. She's got two, but over time, she became disabled. Now she's in a wheelchair. It is really tough for her to, they're teenagers now. It's tough. I see what's transpiring. I see what they're trying to do, but you can only do so much when you're not around all the time, because the parents I'm talking about, the four kids, they work a lot. And I think they're kind of like, they're not together, but together they're raising them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're doing the best they can. But
The best they can might not be good enough.
But what are you supposed to do?
what are you supposed to do?
Don't have kids.
Oh, my
But
God,
no,
Dean.
when they had them, they were married, they were together, now
But
they
what about
divorced,
all these
separated.
single mothers that have kids and their kids are in the NBA, their kids are in NFL, and now they're giving back
Yeah.
to exponentially. You
That
can
kid we
never-
just got,
No.
LeBaron Feiline you got a great story. I mean,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah, you tell your story, right?
Yeah.
You got a great story. Look
Listen,
at your story.
when I had my first daughter, people looked at me and my financial ability as making $33,000 as a public defender. They might have said, you know what?
They would have
You
said.
might not need to have children right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a very tough
Yeah.
thing. You've
It
got to
is.
really.
Yeah.
It's
It
case
just
by
makes me
case.
angry that these kids are the victims of shit that's way beyond their control. You know,
Well, the
I mean,
social media thing.
maybe
Social
having
media has
That's
played a huge
huge.
part.
You are dead on
and
with
it's
that.
sad.
maybe
It's so
having
sad.
grown up in insanity, I know the feeling, and it's
Yeah,
like, you know,
me
it's
too.
you're helpless.
Here's what I like it. When
chaotic.
we were
Yeah.
little, we would go to the arcade. Remember that photo booth we all went in?
Yep.
Took the black and white.
Yep.
That was a big deal. That's the most narcissistic thing we ever did. We didn't take Polaroids of ourselves. We went in that booth.
Yeah.
Now all day, this
All
is
day.
all they do.
All day.
Yeah.
And
Everywhere they go, they stop somewhere. They're
hard-
performing
it's
on the streets by
really,
themselves. There's
really
somebody in front of a
hurtful.
phone. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
But
Yeah.
their mindset is just shallow. It's that the morals, it's gone.
Yeah.
And Dean, I know people look at tech companies like, oh, they don't look like criminals to me. But did doctors look like criminals when they were prescribing
Right.
medications that they knew had more
No.
addictive nature?
Yeah.
But
Tuskegee Airmen.
we've been prosecuting them recently.
Yep.
I just think that it should be, again, a case by case analysis. But they know what they're doing.
Yo,
And they got
damn
big bucks
sure.
to fight too. Then they'll come armed with everything for their size.
Yep,
They know what
yep.
they're doing. And
Yeah,
it's just,
man.
I saw it. First of all, there was a time period in my own children where I saw this going on, right? They were just kind of getting this mob mentality during COVID from social media. They were angry and just, I'm like, what is wrong? Both of you have never been stopped by police.
Well, hold
what
on.
are you guys doing?
What I will say, I feel for those kids that because of COVID never got a chance to graduate in March and experience that part, and they missed their proms and all the stuff that we take for granted. They never walked the aisle. They never got the diploma like that. And that was a big deal for some of these kids.
my daughter, she didn't get a
I
high
feel for
school
that.
graduation.
I just had this conversation with
She got a college one.
Jackson.
So
Amen.
get over it.
Yeah.
Get over it.
I just
I
had-
mean, it's life.
Amen.
What are you gonna do? Like
Yeah.
a pandemic is the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
I think they need to learn resilience, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, everybody who firmly believe this, and I'm a recipient of it. Everybody who's successful has post-traumatic success. Okay, post-traumatic success. Those of us who are successful are the hunchbacks. We're the people who people made fun of our whole lives, but we were determined and focused to get beyond that.
Yeah.
And so if you look at people who are successful,
They're determined.
most of them have had some horror trauma in their past.
The reason
Had
is
to.
Carmelo Anthony
because you don't do,
matters to me.
What it takes to be successful is madness.
Yes.
sometimes.
Right.
You gotta have a why.
An
I was
obsession.
bullied. I was bullied. That's why that meant something to me. I was bullied all the
Yeah.
time until I started fighting back. And my father made me fight the bully in front of him. The bully beat my ass, but he made me do it.
But you had
Yeah.
to right.
He was
go through
bigger than me,
that.
and that changed. And then what happened was they all realized this guy's pretty good at sports. We want him on our team. And then that started to happen. And then I
You
started
run,
working
huh?
out. Then I was a little guy. Then I started working out. And people started leaving me alone and other stuff. But I understand the mentality of being bullied. And when you said, at some point you said, enough is enough. And I think that's what happened in this case.
See, that's the problem. We only think because we really don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
He
I
didn't
think-
take the stand, which
no.
was ridiculous.
And I do think a case of this national, just in interest. I get the judges saying they were students, but they're now into 18, 19 years old. I think they can handle televised. But one of the things the judge did say that I thought was like, okay, he didn't want social media to influence the next person's testimony. Like if someone testified and social media slammed them, they didn't want that to then influence the vulnerability of the kids. But
It's part
what
of
are
the
you
game
gonna do?
now, though.
Well,
right?
because social media has become so prevalent in our lives.
I'd love to hear the reason why he did not testify, and whether
They
there
probably
was
thought he
a
didn't sound right.
Maybe that was
a decent justification for that from a trial lawyer's perspective as to why you didn't put him on the stand. But if you're going to allege self-defense, you have to put him on the stand. So don't allege self-defense if you're not going to put the kid on the stand.
So,
Right.
so the appeal process, I think, is just happening.
Yeah.
So they're going to appeal it based on what already happened, or they're going to say, look, there was an error in how it was presented to,
So the appeal only deals with errors in the beginning, right? You
Gotcha.
can't appeal non-errors. So you can only, the record is what the appellate court looks at. So it also depends on what's preserved on appeal, right? If I don't object to things, that issue may not even be preserved. However, you can appeal my counsel. If I was ineffective in my counsel in any way, such as I said I wanted to testify, you told me not to, it's a self-defense case, that's generally reversible error. Most people get an appeal all the time. But you can also appeal procedural grounds if it is shown that the district attorney struck 3 black jurors on the basis of race and not this not this education thing, because there were other jurors who are not black that had education backgrounds. That's an appeal issue
Now,
too.
in that instance, will the prosecutor who chose the jury have to testify in some subsequent proceeding? Like, how do you find that out? How do you? Yes.
Yeah, you have to put on a hearing. Like if
In
a
the
judge,
appealing process.
If I appeal that and a judge says, "Okay, you're saying that these are pretextual reasons, and it's pretextual reasons because of A, B, C," then now I need to have a hearing. And prosecutor, you've got to explain why you didn't strike the other jurors with education backgrounds, and
that's the trial judge who's going to have that hearing.
No, that would be the appellate.
Appellate judge.
Oh, the appellate judge.
Appellate
They
judge.
can have
Hearing?
they can do an appellate hearing. So
Okay.
when we appeal cases now, a judge can deny it or grant it on the papers, or they can have a hearing if we need to flesh out more
It's
information.
a long time. Just because
Isn't the first? Well, there's an appeal to the intermediary appellate court, but
Yes.
could there also be a request made to the trial judge for?
To review certain things. Yeah. You can always, because it was a jury, the trial judge really has no role in this anymore, right? The jury kind of made all the decisions, so now it's the appellate court that has to review what went to the jury.
Got it.
Good question. Like in medicine, is it still a father can't operate on his own child, right?
Oh, heck, yes. Again, they'll be prosecuted.
Right, but does that work in the law? You can
I
defend
don't know
your.
I don't know that there's a law that.
Aren't there rules about operating your own?
If you
spouse
hurt them and you're not a doctor, you'll go to jail.
No, not if you are a doctor and that you do.
You saying if
Wasn't there
they are a doctor?
Wasn't there some point where you weren't
No.
allowed to
No.
operate on your own sibling
no.
or
No.
wife?
I just
or
don't think
husband?
it's a good
Was there
idea.
anything?
Yeah, not a good
It's
idea.
not a good idea.
Yeah.
So, but that's not. It does not apply to the law. You should defend your child, right?
Well, you could. It's not a good idea
Who'd
because
be a better
you're
attorney than?
emotional.
Okay,
Well,
so
I mean-
it's not a good idea. It's frowned upon.
because you need to have some distance
Right.
between you and your client, some professional distance, so that you can make decisions that need to be made. And maybe one of them is we're not going to use a self-defense argument if you're not going to testify, and I don't think you should testify, and here are the reasons why. And so we're going to plead you guilty, or we're going to focus on the past behaviors that led up to this that will mitigate it. There has to be some.
So they would determine you guys to be emotionally compromised.
I would,
Yes.
if my children were going through this, I don't think I could think as clearly as I need to when it's not my child. I just think you're not supposed to use emotion when you're administering the law, right?
Well-
Passion, different, but emotion makes you make different decisions.
Here's why I say this: you're a well-known, good criminal. You're a great criminal attorney. But
And
you're
civil rights.
You're in civil rights. Well, your child is now in trouble like Carmelo's. You've got to find an attorney. So you
be
find
hard.
some that's going to
You're
be
gonna
hard.
somebody else.
And you're
'Cause I'm gonna
you'll
second
be
guess
second
everything. I'm
guessing
sorry.
all the time. It would be hard to work for you
It would be.
if you were an attorney, right?
It would be.
This kid came from a good family. If I remember, Sarah, he came from a good family, good upbringing. They had great optics and everything. It sounds like when I'm here, it was bad counsel, and the other side just told a better story.
Was it a private counsel?
Yeah, he was a public defender, so they said he knew all the players. But he was in private practice now. But I don't think it's you can't go by that, right? You need a go-getter because sometimes people get comfortable in certain spaces and they don't do certain things. I just think that the decision not to put a person on the stand in self-defense is per se ineffective. It just self-defense is that I had to defend myself because this is what I believed.
No,
Yeah.
never know.
So if this gets overturned on appeal, her argument should be the argument that they base it on.
Or does it get?
And
Does
you
it
should
get?
call me.
Or can? But if it
Cardi
goes
B,
to
give me a
appeal,
call.
they'll either reverse it or make them do a new trial.
Carly,
Yeah,
anybody?
it'll be a new
Any
trial.
comments?
It'll be a new
questions,
trial?
Issues?
They'll be able to.
We just got one comment.
Oh, I don't like the way you're laughing at it.
How come no one ever mentioned the GoFundMe donations that the parents received from Carmelo Anthony's defense that the parents received and purchased a home? Why is that not mentioned?
I didn't know.
Heard that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was true.
I didn't either. I don't think they purchased a home. I think they had to
Where'd you hear
move.
that?
I do know they had to move and relocate because they were getting death threats. So if some of the GoFundMe money was used to help them relocate, I think
That makes-
That's
makes
valid.
sense.
That's
Very
valid.
valid. They're
Yeah.
getting threatened, which I can see.
I think they were getting threatened a lot, and so they had to relocate. I don't think they bought a new home, but they relocated to another place.
You know what I want to comment on real quickly, and maybe you've seen it. Well, both of you are in town a lot. But the world has been to Philadelphia, and from what these people I love having them around. They're wearing the different colors. The world for FIFA.
Oh, wait a minute!
These
Shout
folks are
out
great.
Cabo Verde. I'm Cape Verdean. Yes. Oh, my mother's from Brava Fogo. Shout out Cabo Verde.
They love this city. When you just
So
start
they
to
love
talk.
football.
Yes.
No,
they
I'm
love
saying
the
when you
city
talk
and
to
football.
them.
No, it wouldn't matter what the city is. It's football.
I'm
Well,
with you.
fine, but I
with you.
engage them. I
They
see
can
them
go
a
to
lot.
Fort
passing
Bend, New
back.
Jersey.
Yeah,
They
as a
were-
Caribbean girly, yeah, no, it's football.
There's these two boys on TikTok. They're from Australia, and they've been going around like just making TikToks of trying like regular American stuff. Like
And going
they're like,
nuts.
all
Love
right,
it.
first time at Wawa, and like they're making a video. And it's
See what we
so-
take for granted.
Yeah.
Yo, they think like Walmart is like a museum.
They
Yeah,
love
they
the
love
stuff
it.
We're
we
so
do here.
spoiled. We are so spoiled.
That's what they're all
It's
saying.
football.
You know they can't drink at soccer games elsewhere.
That's
They
right.
can in this country.
In
They're
America,
like, oh,
let's
really?
do
You
it.
can't drink in a
No. You see the stuff that
See
happens
how
in the
debaucherous
stands?
we are.
Do they?
get
They must
rowdy
bring it
without-
with them.
No, now they can. But it was banned everywhere else in the world because these countries go at it, man.
Yeah, they're rowdy so.
They're rowdy, man.
It's crazy.
But
I
so
don't
now they
understand.
got beer. Like, it's
I wanna
amazing.
go.
America,
I wanna
what a
go.
country.
I want to go so bad. Cape Verde's playing on July 3rd, the day before my birthday. I don't know,
July
baby.
4th, birthday,
Yes.
baby.
Yeah,
Makes
she,
sense.
That's
Yeah.
right. You and Touchstone.
And me and Sarah are a
both
week
they're
apart.
in touch,
Today is Sarah's birthday.
Oh, you did not. Get out of here.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
We didn't know
Sarah
that.
on camera.
No,
Put Sarah on
I was
camera.
like, wait, I'm not ready. I'm not
I'm
birthday
not
ready.
ready. Nice night.
What are you doing?
All right, are we turning up this
Dinner,
weekend?
girl dinner.
Oh.
You know, gotta do hair and makeup.
Yes.
You know, I
Oh,
couldn't give that to you guys this early.
You didn't need to. It's your
You didn't say
birthday.
one word. We missed it.
no,
No,
she
she
said
did.
it
She tried
last
to get
week.
off today.
She
I
was
did.
trying to get off today.
I tried to get this show off today.
And he was like, no,
I'm so sorry.
everybody else got to work on
But
their
I'm going to give you
birthday.
off next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dean.
Yeah, you know, you're so good to these people.
But you haven't run into any of these folks in town?
I have.
Nobody?
Who's
Yes,
the yellow
as-
and green? Who were they?
That's yellow and
Brazil.
green is
Brazil.
Brazil. That's what they're calling it.
I was.
Yeah.
They were all over the place.
Yeah.
Brazil,
Brazil-Philadelphia.
yo,
As I come up from the parking lot, I pass Love Statue.
Yeah,
And
they
so
all take-
every
yes.
day, there's a long line of people taking pictures at Love Statue.
And had a man. That's all the time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But
but
it's
now
more
it's
now.
big
Is it
time
really?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Have
believe
you
that.
gone to? Do you like soccer?
I do not.
No.
No.
You haven't been offered any tickets or anything?
Yes, I have.
And you said no.
Wait a minute,
I
Dean. You said no.
I said no.
Say yes. you have
You can't
friends.
say no for everybody.
Dean, you have friends.
You know, come on, bro.
Then you got a bunch of other stuff.
Thought we were
I got
friends.
compliments
You know
from
what I
the
mean?
golf
It's
course.
Oh, nice.
They loved
Yeah,
it.
that looks beautiful on
Yeah,
you.
that's great.
And your arms look very buff in that,
Well,
you know.
All right, so
Which way to the beach?
What in the Charles Atlas are you talking about? Well, that's a name.
What were you
Charles.
going to say? Sid? Going back to those tickets, right?
yeah, but back to those
I
tickets.
thought I got myself out of that.
That round of 32, baby.
So
Somebody
you
call
really
you,
are not
call me.
interested in it's a World Cup game.
Never try to distract a black woman. She's right back on there.
You better know it. We're laser focused.
Yo.
Oh my
We
God.
are laser focused.
No, I'm just back to no interest at a World Cup soccer match. I mean, that
Hell
doesn't-
no. Too
it
much
doesn't come
fucking
around.
humanity in one place.
We're back to
Baby,
too much
no.
Would you have given
I've
up?
never heard that excuse.
I
you
am
had
not
an
rubbing
Olympic-
elbows with the world.
So if you had an Olympic.
Really?
This
ticket to
is
the
my
Olympics.
limit, okay? This 5 people. This is it.
Going back to Fork
Going back to Forked Road.
You're about as far as Cape Verdean he's going.
Okay.
Fuck no.
Fork Road is probably as big as Cape Verde.
All right, we got to wrap up.
Aw.
Closing arguments are coming to an end. Folks, we'll see you next. Well, we will
No,
not
we're
see you
not.
next week.
No, happy
We
Fourth.
will
We'll see you
Happy
in 2
Kids'
weeks.
Yes, we
Happy
will be
kid's birthday.
replaying
Replaying our
live
radio broadcast that if you missed, you don't want to miss it. You get a chance to see it next week. From Hung Fa Supermarket, dumpling capital of Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Is that Chester County?
It is.
Berwyn.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
Berwyn's in Chester County.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I made
That's like the
sure
counties, yes.
I did not want to buy a house in Montgomery County. I hate
Oh.
Montgomery County.
I didn't. That did not come from me. That came from you.
Opinions expressed.
I still have to get business.
You've been there for a while too.
Well, I'm just talking about the court system.
We're talking about that too. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you want to try a case in 10 years, go to Montgomery County. Judges, what are you doing out there?
From
You gotta get this away from.
Go. Thank you.
Well, it's July 21st, but you got to call the night before.
Right.
But I know they're going to kick me off because I already know the question on the questionnaire that's going to get me booted. Because I do believe
Which is it?
if you don't take the stand, you're guilty.
See, you can't do that, and don't say that.
Well, no, she wants to say that because she want to be home. She want to be at work.
I
See,
believe
that's the problem. That's the fake. That's the fake call. You go in and you say the words.
I want them to give jurors
I
more
believe
money
that,
for
though.
serving.
I
I want them to
believe
get
that.
more benefit. I want more
Yeah,
incentive
it's still
for
$9 for the first
Yes.
3 days.
You
Can't even pay
give
for parking.
jurors
I
more.
Can't even play yeah.
That's sick.
They don't
That's
even
crazy.
give like they don't. They should give
That's
you
why
parking.
you see, when I do a trial, I pay the jurors.
What?
What? Wait, whoa.
All right, cut the feed. Cut the feed.
Just kidding. Stop it.
Cut the feed.
What the fork?
What the fucking road is he talking about?
My Philly Lord had become